So we all know Marineford, right? The epic battle between the Whitebeard pirates and the world government. And just about every single big power player in One Piece that we knew at the time was there. You had all the Marines, you had the Shishibukai, the Seven Warlords were there, well, mostly there. I guess eventually they all decided to show up. You had Luffy and inmates from Impel Down, you had the Heart Pirates, you had Shanks even show up there at the very end. It was this huge event, this crazy skirmish where so many badass moments took place and absolutely nothing of significance to the story happened. Okay, so a lot of important stuff happened. There was a lot of reunions between characters, interactions with characters. The thing is, there were two characters who were on that battlefield that at the time we didn't realize knew each other. And not only did they know each other, they were essential to each other's backstories. And obviously I'm talking about Doflamingo and Trafalgar Law. So back when we were reading Marineford, we didn't know about the history of those two characters. Both of them were pretty mysterious characters, their backstories were vague, not really delved into at the time. But knowing what we know now, it's crazy to think that they were in that close a proximity to each other and nothing happened. But what if something did? So obviously, given the information we have now, all these years later after Punk Hazard and Dressrosa and learning both of their backstories, we know that Law wanted revenge at the time. Probably back then he was planning out the things he'd pull off later on, messing with Doflamingo's organization. I'm sure all of that was swirling around in that head of his. We know Law wanted revenge against Doflamingo ever since Doflamingo killed Rocinante, who was kind of Law's mentor and saved his life. And Doflamingo had these horrible plans for Law where he wanted to pretty much groom him to become his right-hand man. So he was going to brainwash this kid into being his subordinate and then use him as a tool, essentially. So Law didn't really like that, and after he learned the truth and after Rocinante died, he escaped Doflamingo's grasp, setting all of Doflamingo's plans for that on hold for years, and Law wanted to bring Doflamingo down for everything that had happened to him. That's just what a horrible person Doflamingo is. So even at Marineford, I honestly think if he had seen Doflamingo at the time, he wasn't ready. He knew he couldn't beat him directly. He wasn't going to try and fight him if he saw him. He was a bit busy at the time, considering he was trying to save Luffy's life, and Akainu was on their asses, so he had his submarine, and he was just trying to get the hell out of there with Luffy. He was like, let's grab Straw Hat, I don't want to die, let's go. So Law escaped, and the two never saw each other. I feel if Doflamingo had seen Law, it could have gone one of two ways, really. Either he sees Law, and he's kind of like, that's weird, what a crazy day. I'm over here just dismembering people, having a grand old time, flirting with Crocodile, and this is just another crazy thing to happen today. Doflamingo was loving that battle. He was just enjoying the hell out of it. And maybe he just would have thought, I'll deal with that another time. It's cool to see him. At least I know he's alive somewhere. Or, and I think this is the more likely scenario, considering how important Law was to Doflamingo's plans, he probably would have been more like, Law, is that you, man? Oh my god, it's been so long. Oh, I hope there's no hard feelings about all that bad stuff that happened back then. I've been saving the heart seat for you, man. You can still be part of my family. It'll be great. You can use your devil fruit to give me my immortality like I always wanted. Like, that's fine. Like, all is forgiven. I'm sure he would have tried to coerce him back. And if Law wasn't, up for that, which I'm sure he wouldn't have been, Doflamingo might have tried to take him by force, which would have been interesting to see if he tried to wrap him with some strings and take him back to Dressrosa. Because then Law trying to escape with Luffy, he wouldn't have just been trying to escape with Akainu. He would have been trying to escape from Doflamingo. So having Doflamingo see Law and go after him would have just made that even more chaotic than it already was. And obviously Law wouldn't have stood a chance because even 2 years later he really didn't stand that much of a chance against Doflamingo. So if Doflamingo had wanted to capture him, that might have been a good time to do it. It's just crazy to think that if Doflamingo had just been a little closer to shore rather than wherever he was across the battlefield, things might have gone a lot differently for everyone. I mean, if he had captured Law, if he had interfered with that whole escape, then Luffy might not have escaped and maybe even have died from his wounds since Law wouldn't have been able to help him. This reunion could have caused a huge shift in what actually went down. And I wish so badly, this is just a selfish wish, I wish Oda had included just one panel, just one, of Doflamingo looking across the battlefield when Law arrives, and just said, like, maybe had a smile on his face and just been like, Law? All the readers would have been like, Doflamingo knows Law? Why does he look kind of happy to see Law? What's the connection between them? Because the only hint of a connection between them before the time skip was that their Jolly Rogers kind of both had that smile thing going on. But that was it. We didn't know anything else about it. So it just would have been a really nice bit of foreshadowing for a storyline we weren't going to get for years to come in real time. And I guess in the story time too, 2 years. It would have been nice to like have a nice little hint of that relationship. And I know like there were so many characters and so many things you had to do in that arc. I don't blame Oda at all for not addressing it. I just think it would have been cool. It would have been a nice bit of foreshadowing. And I really don't see, if it had gone any other way, I don't see it ending well for Law at all. It's just something I've been thinking about. I love these two characters, and I think it's fun to think about what could have happened based on what we know now. That's all for me, guys. Take care.